Hello everyone, welcome back to Tali's Kitchen. If you're new here, do feel at home. Now today we're going to be learning how to make these glazed donuts which turned out really amazing. I do not kid you when I tell you these ones were just so delicious. The perfect alternative to bread. Now I want to show you guys here how these turned out on the inside. Really soft, really fluffy, almost cloudy texture. They were just incredible. If you've been looking to ditch bread, this is the solution for you. The full recipe is in the description box below, but for now, let's go ahead and learn how exactly you can use those ingredients to create these fantastic donuts. So without any further ado, let's learn how to get this done. So to start us off here, I'm going to be starting here with half a cup of warm milk, and then next up I'll be adding 1 tablespoon of instant yeast, and I'm just using my spatula here to mix everything to combine nicely. Next up I'm adding 2 tablespoons of sugar and half a teaspoon of salt, and then lastly I'll be doing 1 egg. So I'm going to mix everything to combine, and then I'm going to let this rest until our yeast is nicely activated. And I'm using warm milk here because it activates the yeast much faster, so ensure to use warm milk instead of room temperature milk so that the yeast can be activated faster. Once your yeast is nicely activated, this will set for about 7 minutes. Go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. I just forgot to add this at the beginning, so you can add this just before you let your mixture rest. So once that's done, just mix everything to combine nicely, and then I'm going to be now adding 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So first off, I'm going to be starting here with my spatula just to mix everything to combine nicely, and then once that's done, I'll just scrape off everything from my spatula and then go in with my clean hands and begin kneading my dough. Now, whenever you're working with donut dough, it's usually a sticky type of dough, so do not be tempted to add any additional flour. Just keep on kneading it until you get a nice soft dough. You can see it's a really sticky dough, and that is very much okay. So I let this rest for about 5 minutes, and then next up I'm just going to spread this on my counter, and then I'll be adding here 1 tablespoon of room temperature margarine. Feel free to use butter if you have butter in place of margarine. So next here, it's just to incorporate the margarine and our dough until they're nicely mixed together. Now, it is going to get a bit messy as you can see here, but hang in there. This is what you want. Just continue kneading it until you get a really nice soft dough. Do not add any flour at this point. Once you achieve a nice soft dough, we're now going to let this rest until it is double in size. And to do that, I'm going to be adding a little bit of vegetable oil into my bowl because the donut dough, like I said, it's usually a little bit sticky and I don't want it to stick it to my bowl. So once that's done, just add in your dough, and then we're going to cover this and let it rest until it is double in size. So it's been about 40 minutes here because it's a little bit warm and my dough is nicely proofed. So just go ahead and use your hands to remove the air from this. It is a very satisfying experience, by the way. You have no idea. And then up next, I'm just going to now use my hands and shape this into a beautiful round ball. Go ahead and dust your counter with all-purpose flour and then roll out your dough to a thickness of about 1 centimeter in thickness, so between 0.7 to 1 centimeter is pretty good. And then since I don't have a donut cutter, you can always improvise. I'm using a cup to create my donut shapes. If you don't want to use a cup, go ahead and create a small ball and then put your finger in the middle, and then just use now your 2 index fingers to roll out and create that donut hole shape. So with or without a pizza cutter, you can easily create your donut shapes with your hands. So you have no excuse, yeah? But for the rest of the pieces, I'm going to now be using my cookie cutter here, which I've just dusted with a little bit of flour so that the dough does not stick to it. And then go ahead and now cut out the donut holes from your pieces of dough. And you can see, pretty easy, right? Yeah. So up next, I have put this on parchment paper which I've dusted with flour because I find it easier to pick and put in the oil. So I'll let this rest for 20 minutes, and as that is resting, as it continues to proof, I'm going to be adding my cooking oil into my pan and I'll be heating this on medium heat. this point, I want us to create our sugar glaze. So go ahead and add half a cup of powdered sugar and a quarter cup of milk and begin to mix this together until everything is nicely combined. Now I did run out of powdered sugar, but if you want to create a slightly thicker glaze, just go in with more powdered sugar, and if you want more glaze, of course, just go in with a little bit of both. Our oil here is nice and hot, so I'm now going to add my donuts into the oil, and as you can see, they are nicely proofed. Now, if you do not have parchment paper, do not worry too much. Just add this on a dusted counter, but as you pick this to add them into the oil, preferably go in with, say, a spatula and pick it up gently and put it in the oil, because if you pick them with your hands, you're going to distort the shapes, because remember, these are proofed again, so they are really airy on the inside, so you can easily deflate them. So use a spatula instead to pick them up. But if you have parchment paper, it makes your work really easy, because you just gently place them in the oil and pick up the parchment paper. Now you can flip this on the other side, and we're looking for a really beautiful golden color. Ensure you're cooking this on medium to low heat, because you don't want this to burn on the outside and not fully cook on the inside. So please ensure you're cooking this on medium to low heat, so that they are fully cooked on the inside and nicely golden brown on the outside. So I'm really satisfied with the color that I'm seeing here, and I'm pretty sure you are as well. So I'm going to go ahead and now use my skewer to just gently remove this from the oil. I'll be adding this onto my paper towel just to drain out any excess oil. Next up, I'm arranging this on my cooling rack in preparation for glazing. So I'm going to be dipping this into my glaze. You can either coat your donuts half with the sugar glaze like so, and then return it onto your counter to drain out any excess glaze. And you can see it's really light, but this is just because I ran out of sugar, the powdered sugar, but you can make it thicker if you do want to have a thicker glaze. But also on the upside, the slight amount of glaze that this had really made them subtly sugary, which was really good, to be honest. So these donuts are basically done, and you can just wait until the sugar dries out on top, and then you can easily serve this. And as you can see, they turned out really beautiful and amazing. Now let's do a second cut here again, just to confirm how incredible these turned out. Look at that, beautiful, fluffy, soft, everything nice. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is the perfect alternative to bread. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe and you'll actually try it out. Please let me know how it goes in the comment sections below. Consider subscribing to the channel if you've not yet subscribed, liking and sharing the video, and I will see you all next week, inshallah, with another fantastic recipe. For now, bye bye and take care of yourself.